You are now tuned into Club Therapy with Emily Chan.
It's tough to break into the restaurant scene in Toronto, and somehow, while we're in a recession, Susies has managed to be a beacon of light and one of the busiest new restaurants in Toronto, you guys. So welcome back to Club Therapy. I missed you guys and I hope you missed me. Today we have Leebs here.
What's up?
What's
going on?
Leebs runs Susies and is the general manager there. And that's actually how we met, I think, through Susies.
Yeah, definitely.
Yeah.
I've had the pleasure of meeting you and a lot of the NPM crew and some solid people in Toronto.
Yeah, we come by pretty often.
Yeah, I love it.
I was going to say, how has Susies been?
It's been good. It's good, yeah. I mean, it's so humbling to have created a space that people enjoy coming to. You know, January, February, these last couple of months are typically a slow time in this industry. And
for sure.
It hasn't been for us, which is such a, just so grateful. You know, I think the city's embraced us in a way that we're just really, really thankful for. And we just hope that we can give it back and put something cool for you guys.
I feel like it's like a nice, little cozy pocket. You know what I mean? It's very cozy in there. I love going to Susies.
Yeah,
it's very
warm. By design. I think we really wanted to create a space that I think environment, energy is really something we're conscious of and what we wanted to create. And, you know, Susies was or is based on Susie's partner Adam's grandma. And so the space we were trying to create is or the feeling we're trying to create is what it's like going to grandma's house. You know, which is typically cozy, warm, inviting, comfortable.
Is her name Susie?
Yeah.
Okay, well that makes sense.
Yeah.
Nice.
So that was kind of the inspiration of where the name came from and what we were trying to create. And
it's like an Asian inspired diner, right? Like that's kind of like the back, which I think makes it really unique, right? Yeah. I don't know of any other.
I think we were careful not to overdo the fusion portions of it. I think a lot of the fusion elements are intentional and. Yeah. So, but yes, it is. I always say it as an American diner with an Asian twist.
That's a great way to put it, and that's exactly what it feels like when you're in there as well.
That's good to hear.
So you guys hit the nail on the head right there.
Perfect. Love to hear that.
Well, I wanted to ask, so can you tell me a bit about your background, before Susies? What was your industry experience before you started working at Susies? Yeah,
good question. I feel like I was pretty late, relatively speaking, to join the industry. I think a lot of my friends at the time had it was their first job. They're 16, busboys. And I don't think I joined till probably 20 or 21, which at the time I felt old and I was a busboy when I started.
That's actually so young, right?
Yeah, now
when you're 20, you're literally a baby.
Totally. But as a 21-year-old busboy and I'm with all these 16-year-olds, I was like, oh man, I'm so much older than these guys, but not really. But yeah, I don't know why I always felt like I had a late start. But looking back, 20, 21. I can't remember exactly, but that's still pretty young. But yeah, I started as a busboy at Cactus Club. That was my first restaurant job in Vancouver.
Which location were you at out of curiosity?
I started at Cole Harbour, which was the flagship, big behemoth, 600-seater.
Yeah, that one's ginormous.
Yeah.
That one's the big one, right? I think it's the biggest one.
I think it's the biggest. I think by square footage, the one that actually brought me to Toronto is the Sherway one. I think
that one's pretty huge.
It's bigger by square footage, but I don't know. The Cole Harbour one's a different beast. I think it's just a beautiful location. It's right by the water. And
it's so nice. I love having a nice Bellini on the patio there. Oh, it's beautiful. It just hits different.
Yeah. So that's where I started. And honestly, it was just kind of to get me through school. I didn't really think of it as a career path for me. But I had a friend that kept telling me to come join Cactus Club. And I'd worked actually across the street for a telecommunications company at Shaw. And she's like, dude, what are you working there for? You'd have so much fun here. And she kept trying to get me on to join. And I realized now it was perfect. You get to work with people your age.
It's fun.
When you're in your 20s, you're in it. You're in the scene.
You get to meet people as well.
Meet so many people. I think
it really opens up your social life.
For sure. Absolutely. Because before that, it's who you went to school with, who you grew up with. It's kind of that's all you know. And so this kind of was the first time that you're kind of making new circles of friends, and I was lucky enough to be able to bridge the gap and have my high school and childhood friends join my industry friends.
That's the best. I love that. I used to say about Cactus Club because I'm from Vancouver as well.
Yes, that's right. I always forget that.
I know. I always forget that too until you just said that just now. Yeah. So I'm in the East Van. I grew up in the East Van, like Burnaby area, basically.
Okay.
Where'd you grow up in?
East Van and Burnaby.
What?
So when I was a kid, I grew up in
We've
North
never
Burnaby.
met?
Yeah, I know, it's wild. I grew up in North Burnaby as a kid, near Brentwood area.
Me too.
No way.
Yeah,
That's
Willingdon
crazy.
Heights.
Wow. That's
Yeah,
crazy. I went to
that's
Brentwood
crazy.
Park Elementary.
Okay.
Yeah, and I would have gone to either Alpha or Burnaby North if I stuck around for high school. But I moved when I was grade 6. I started in East Van.
I
It's
see.
weird, and then went to Killarney was my high school.
Oh yeah, that's so crazy. I lived right
What high school did you go
beside there. I went to a really small, I went to a weird school. It was a really small alternative school called Stratford Hall. Have you ever heard of
Stratford
it?
Hall.
It's right on Commercial Drive. It's
Okay.
literally tiny. It was an IB school. I don't know if you know it.
Yeah.
So
So
it
you're
was
a smart
just.
girl.
I think I was just a girl in an IB school. You know
Okay,
what I mean?
alright,
Because I
alright.
didn't
So
I didn't really do very well in that school.
Okay, fair.
Because we would have. I mean, it was like a really tough program. B, there was just they had you doing so much. Like I'd have like circus class. I'm not even kidding. I would have
Wow.
like outdoor ed once a week. I would have like in my gym class and stuff like that. Like instead
Now,
of
was
doing
this-
like
Was this something you always wanted to do? Was this something you wanted to get into, or was it something your parents put you into?
my
or-
parents put me in, and it was a K to 12, and I was locked in there. I was like begging them. I was like, "Let me go to Killarney. Let me go to
Yeah,
Vancouver," and
yeah.
they wouldn't let me.
Interesting.
Yeah.
Did you feel like you missed out on any, like, I don't know how small it was, but like a high school experience, or did you see your friends from other places and be like, I want
Yeah,
yeah.
1,000%. That's a great question. I honestly really did feel like I missed out on certain high school experiences because my school was so small, and it was also just like a bit of an unusual school. It was. I don't want to hate on it. It was still
Yeah.
like a good school, but so small. Like even like my grad class, I think there was like 30 people in my grad class.
30?
Yeah.
Wow.
And so it just
I think I
got
had 700 in ours.
Yeah, that makes sense. And like I feel like with that comes like a whole different experience. Like with
Yeah.
being around 30 people that I literally grew up with, like we're all so close. But then there's also like so much drama, right? Like and you couldn't really like
Escape.
hook up with people or
Yeah.
anything. Like people would, right? But it felt like kind of incesty, because we're
fair,
all
fair.
like literally growing up together.
Yeah, K to 12, that's a long time with
Yeah, with the same people. And then I feel like I missed out on things like, we'd have like a school dance, but it wouldn't be like the school dance would have like, you'd have like 40 people in a room, you know what I
Yeah,
mean? And
yeah.
that would be like 2 full grades, like, in like a
Things that
small
make for an
room
awkward
together.
dance, no?
Yeah, of course. It's awkward as hell, And so I feel like I missed out on stuff like that, or like going to like, like the football game or some stuff like homecoming. Like my school didn't really do things like that.
Yeah.
I mean, they did other stuff, but yeah, I kind of missed out on that experience. It's funny though when you're saying Cactus Club, because I remember I was going to apply to Cactus Club when I was 16, and someone said to me, they were like, "Oh my God, you're going to join the Cactus Club cult," because that's what people will say about Cactus Club,
Yeah, yeah,
especially
yeah.
Vancouver, because there's one on like every block.
Totally.
Everyone
totally.
has like some kind of experience there, whether they've worked in it or like they used to go all the time. It's a
Yeah.
classic.
Yeah, and especially at like usually when you're joining that team, it's such in your formative years too. I could see the culty thing. I definitely heard it. I was obviously drinking the juice, so I didn't see it. And you know what? Like when I think cult, I think bad. There's like
Yeah.
so in that sense, there wasn't really like it was a lot of positives that came out of that. Everything I learned was a great training program, and so I look back very fondly of my experience there.
How long were you there for then?
Almost 10 years.
Oh my gosh, 10
Yeah,
years.
I think like eight and a half or something like that. That's what brought me out to Toronto.
To open up Cactus Club.
Yeah. So
Wow.
usually you'll do an open and they'll like send you for a few months and come back. And, this time around they offered an opportunity to stay out there. They asked if I would be willing to stay out there for 2 years, just to kind of, it's hard to build culture and like really have an impact on the space when you're only there for 3-4 months. So, and I think obviously they wanted to build a team out there. So I agreed. At the time, I don't have kids and I wasn't in a relationship, so it was a pretty easy.
You're like, why not?
Yeah, they pay for it all.
Yeah, I know that.
They made it such an easy yes. So yeah, I packed up my bags and came to Toronto. Coincidentally, so I hit the group chat saying, "Hey guys, moving to Toronto. I'll be there July 1st." Matt, one of the Susies partners, happened to also be moving to Toronto a week before me.
No way. From Vancouver as well?
Yeah, from Vancouver.
He's from Vancouver?
We all are. Yeah, we all grew up. We all went to the same high school.
That's why I love you guys.
Yeah. We
That Vancouver connection.
Vancouver Lab. We all
Yeah.
find each other.
Exactly.
Mike Rock,
And
Mike
Mike
Rock, Lunch Lady Crew. Like, yeah, there's a lot of good energy comes from Vancouver.
For sure. I feel like people from Vancouver, they're just drawn to each other.
For sure.
I don't know I can't put my finger on exactly what it is, but you feel it,
It's
right?
always, and it's not even just in Toronto. Like, I remember being in Australia, traveling once, and like meeting people from Vancouver, or being abroad, you'll somehow find, if not Vancouver,
like West Coast,
like
some from LA
totally.
or Seattle or something like that. And you're like,
there's like a chillness to West Coast people, I find.
Absolutely, yeah.
But Toronto's such an amazing city too.
So you met Matt through, like, you guys were in this group chat?
Yeah.
Right?
So we've known each other since
moving.
8th grade. Yeah, Adam and Tyler as well, the other Susies guys. Yeah, I hit the group chat. He said he was coming to Toronto as well. He was in finance and had a little corporate job going. And so we essentially moved to Toronto together. And
Basically.
I was doing the restaurant thing. He was in finance. And I worked at Cactus up until COVID, actually.
And then what happened? Oh, I guess COVID shut everything down.
Yeah, it shut things down, and it just made you reflect, and like you start thinking whether this is what you wanted to do or not. Again, I never really intentionally decided like this is what I want to do. I want to be a restaurant operator. But you kind of you realize when they say do what you love, you realize, well, I was able to realize that like this job kind of checked off all those boxes. I love to meet people. I enjoy making people happy, and I enjoy a day that's different every day.
The service industry will be like that, right? You just can't anticipate who's going to walk in, right?
Yeah. Every day is so different, and so I think that's I just ended up realizing that this is actually what I like to do.
Wow, and you're like, this is like my passion.
Yeah. I and again, it's weird, like. Lately, I've been looking back and like reflecting and realizing that this is what I love. Like I love my job, and doing it with your boys that you've known since you were 14, 13 makes it even better. So, Cactus brought me out here. I started as a busboy. I worked my way up. By the time I got sent to Toronto, I was already in management, and I think that's when I started to kind of learn what my strengths were in this industry, and connecting with people was really one of the things that I really enjoyed and was good at.
And it's not for everyone. It's tough to do. There's some people that like really struggle with it, and that's okay,
For sure.
But I'm like, the service industry it's not for you.
It's
not for you.
And you know what? Some people don't realize it and like force themselves through it. I'm like, man, like
you don't have to do this.
You don't have to do this.
You can choose at any point to do something different.
Yeah, and I think. There's obviously not that many industries that I can think of that you can make good money in and succeed in and not have to have like a formal education. And, so I get the pull towards it.
And I think there's like this narrative, I think, that happens quite often, especially from like, how old are you?
I'm 34, turning 35.
Okay, that's very honest.
Yes.
And if you want, I'll bleep it.
Keep it in there.
Let's keep it in there.
Let's keep it in there.
But I feel like, in the past, when you would think about the service industry, there's like this narrative, right, that, the service industry was like a second choice or a second option, or there's like this belief that, the service industry was a trap, right, that you would get stuck in it and like you would, it was just not do well.
Just a stepping stone to like something else or like.
Exactly. And then if you stayed in it, then, you were unsuccessful or something like that, which I don't think is the case, right?
For
I
sure.
think a lot of people are realizing that now you can be so successful in the service industry.
Absolutely.
It just depends on the kind of person you are.
I think there's I think a stigma or like just beliefs around titles as well. Like, oh, you're just a server. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
Where it's like, I know servers that work at really high end places that clear, over 100K, 150K easily. So.
And they have like flexibility with their schedule. And they have, you know what I mean? I'm trying to think of what else.
No, flexibility is huge, man. I think huge. How many jobs do you see? I'm sure, I don't know, this exists as a therapist where you can like text someone to fill in for you. Hey, last minute, something came up. Can you take my shift? Yeah, no problem.
I know. Sometimes I wish I could do that. Like I'm just a therapist and I just work for myself, right? And so I can't, there's no sub, right? If I'm sick. I'm not getting paid and I can't, you know what I mean? Like there's no one to cover for me and I just have to like kind of deal with that. So I really try to take care of my health because I'm like, I don't want to let my clients down, right? But B, I'm like, I also, not like I can't afford to, but I would rather not, like miss a couple of days of work,
you actually have to,
But yeah, the service industry is great. Like even yesterday, like I just picked up a shift, right? Like I was looking at my bank account and I was like, I should work. I should work. Like it's, like I'm going away next week and I was like, I could use like $600. I'll pop in.
There are times when, I have a trip to pay for, or you have something that you want to save up for. And like, I can just decide for the next 3 months, I'm going to pick up doubles. I'll work the extra hour if I want to work one day a week. And I have done that there, as I've gotten older, realize sometimes taking time off is okay, and like
Good, I'm
taking
glad
little
to hear.
breaks, and like, you know, working 1 day a week for now, just for a few weeks, just to reset for a bit, and then
That's okay.
jump right back into it. But again, not many jobs that you can
do that.
do that. You know, work 1 day a
Exactly.
week and still sustain living in a city.
What's your schedule look like right now, Susie's? Like, are you there
I'm
almost
there.
every day?
I'm there.
I feel like you live there.
Yeah,
I feel like
yeah.
you're living under the base, like in the
Yeah,
basement there.
People always joke about that because they'll like drive by and like
You're just there.
it's open window, and so you can like see, like, what are you doing there? The restaurant's been closed for so long. I am there every day. I think, again, being passionate and loving the job makes that part easy. But it's also like the growth phase. You know, we're still new, and eventually we'll hire people to replace us. And
For sure.
but for now, I want to enjoy it. I want to be there. You know, and the space has kind of become a third place for us, where our friends will come hang out with us while we finish up our clothes, and we'll just hang out a bit and chat and have a beer. And
It's. I feel like you guys do have like a good sense of like community and family kind of there. You know.
yeah,
That's a vibe I get from Susie's.
yeah. You know, we've so grateful to have so many friends that support us and have lent a hand and love being in the space, and will spend time
Rep
with
the
us.
merch.
Yeah, rep the merch.
Rep the merch,
for
just like
sure.
this guy's
Yeah,
right
all
here.
day, all day. It's all I wear now. But yeah, you know, it's nice, especially because, you know, we don't working in there every day, and you know, we're there for many, many hours of the day. The friends that understand it know how to get a hold of us and how to see us, and so we have
They
a
just have to come to
space. Just pull up,
Susie's.
just pull up. We're here, you know. And I might not be able to do our time spent is not like the traditional way of like, you know, meeting for a coffee or, you know, doing whatever, hanging out with friends. At least not as often. You know, we have our days off still, but
What days do you normally kind of take off?
so Monday,
say.
Tuesdays are the days we're closed. So naturally, those are our days off. But we rotate. Monday we all have off. I think we've created a safety net around our Mondays. We all kind of leave each other alone for a bit. And
Monday's a holy day.
Yeah,
That's what I always
yeah,
say. Because
for
Monday's
sure.
my day off. I have Sundays and Mondays off. So
Yeah.
Monday's like my Sunday. I guess Monday's like your Saturday, right?
Yeah.
Basically.
Yeah, exactly.
But it's a special day. So
Definitely.
quiet on a Monday. Like,
yeah, when we first started, it was funny because I would disappear. Like my friend, like the boys in the Susie's group chat, be like, you know, talking work stuff in the group chat, and I'm unresponsive. But when we first opened, it was in May, and so it was still nice weather, and I randomly picked up paddleboarding. Never done it before. Gone with a friend and enjoyed it. So I would spend Monday afternoons out in the water, and my phone would be in a locker. So I didn't have my phone on me for hours. And so I'd come back to,
a bunch of texts.
yeah, the group chat's popping off, and now there's a joke that like, you won't get a hold of Liben on a Monday, but not on purpose. It's just,
Not on purpose.
I'm usually just, yeah.
That's
Create
like-
that boundary. Little like, yeah, I think the paddleboarding was a way to like escape the phone. I'm naturally like pretty close to my phone, and even though I intend to not want to be on it, I am when it's on me. So
I feel like you can't help it. Like, especially like, yeah, like being in the industry, like you'll have someone that's like booking through you, or
Totally.
like someone will have you're having to talk to someone about like fixing
Totally,
this,
yeah,
and
yeah.
like just like you just have to stay on your phone.
For
But it's
sure.
good to disconnect.
yeah, it's
Yeah.
good for business to have it. It's a tool, absolutely, and I struggle with staying off it. So I'm trying. So my way of doing it is forcing it, like going paddleboarding or doing something that I could leave it alone. But it's been cold. So
Well, are there like any other things that you do to kind of decompress from
Yeah.
working in the industry? Because I mean, you guys are there like, I feel like you guys are there like literally all day, right?
Yeah, we're there
like,
all day.
Yeah,
We're there
because you
from,
guys
like-
open like
we open at 10. We're usually
10.
there like 9. I'm notoriously not a morning person. So Tyler's there at like 6:30, but he tends to leave a little bit earlier.
That's probably why I've never met Tyler before.
Yeah, he's
I'm never
not
there
the-
after
Yeah.
or before like noon.
Yeah, Matt and I, we put ourselves through some nights and hard
Yeah.
mornings sometimes.
So that's why we're not morning people.
Yes, that's right. And
Yeah.
like, you know what? I never have been. My entire existence in this industry has been nights. It was literally, my title was night manager for a long time. And so that came with, 2 a.m. closes, and I'm home at 4. But you don't start till 3,
Yeah,
4 p.m.
exactly.
You know
So
what
it's
I
like
mean?
you can
So
do
it
it.
worked. So I've held on to those habits, but I still have to be at work at 9 a.m. So decompressing for me, that Monday thing is, I try and keep it non-work related as much as I can. And then honestly, I don't know if it's healthy, but just like a cold beer after work and just, venting about the day and going over some, stuff that went throughout the day is usually how Matt and I will decompress. Or music for me is a big one. I just put my AirPods in and find an album and just listen to that.
That sounds gorgeous.
Yeah. I don't know that I've created like an actual healthy decompressing routine, to be honest, but
Well, do you feel like you need one, or do you feel like you're okay like doing like what you're doing right now?
I think I've just done it so long that it's all I know. I don't know. I don't know what decompressing feel. I don't know. Like I feel like I can unwind pretty quickly. I'm able to like compartmentalize work and personal life pretty well. So for me, it's like, when work's done, and I try to keep it separate or at least let it wait for tomorrow, if it's not something I need to do right this second.
Maybe like set a boundary a little bit.
Little bit, like, yeah. And again, I don't know if it's like an intentional boundary, but that's just how I've always operated, I suppose.
Would you say your mental health is overall like okay? Like being in, like you've been in the industry now for so long and like you're even there, like you're there 5 days a week. How does your mental health feel?
Being with friends really helps. I think we support each other a lot, which is huge. I don't know that it would work the same without the partners that I have. Like we're really good at giving each other the time we need.
That's good.
There's times when I have a bad habit of like taking my time with like getting out of there. Like I really could. The restaurant closes at 10. We do our close, 11:30, 12. But I just drag and stay till 1:30, and I got to be back in the morning. And so the boys are really good about we've given me a later start if I need it. Matt will come in early, or we'll do vice versa.
You guys like can support each other in that way.
Yeah. Because of how much we work, sometimes it's we still have personal lives that we'd like to exist in.
For sure.
So when Tyler says there's an opportunity to go is a golf tee time, that would mean you have to leave early. Absolutely, man. Go enjoy some golf. I know that's what you love. If Matt wants to go, I think he's doing Coachella the next weekend. I think it's happening.
Oh, that's fun.
We'll
I know a lot of
each
people
other.
going actually to Coachella this year.
Yeah,
Oh, wow.
It's a big cool. Yeah, so we'll take turns and like give each other those moments, and I don't think we all have to. The sacrifices don't always have to all be happening at the same time from all of us equally.
But if you guys each,
we all take our turns. Like there are times when I want to do something, or like. Yeah, and we just talk to each other. Being friends makes it really easy, and we have no filter with each other. We'll say it straight, and if we can't, we can't. Listen, man, we need you. You got to find another day, but otherwise, we try as much as we can to give each other moments to enjoy our personal life as well.
good. That's really refreshing to hear, because I feel like I've spoken to so many people like in my personal life and in like a professional setting as well, and they talk about going into business with friends, and so often it doesn't work out, right? Like I don't want to say you guys are an anomaly, but it is more rare to hear that, things are going well, and like, you feel like your mental health is good because of the support you have. From,
absolutely.
Your friends that you get to work with.
For sure. Yeah. And I think we've always said friendship first. So if there's anything that's going to get in the way of the friendship and it's a business related thing, we'll prioritize the friendship. I think I can't think of a dollar figure that's going to make us
break up.
But or that's worth the trouble of risking the friendship. It's either we're all in it, we agree, or if anyone has hesitations, we'll speak up. I think that's important. And there's a level of trust that you can't buy. There's that only time can give you. And that's something I'm very grateful for. And I didn't realize till later in life that I thought everyone was still friends with their high school friends.
No, it's funny. I said this in my last episode, and I think also because I have a lot of friends that moved from Vancouver to Toronto. I feel like that's like a big pipeline, right? Like
sure.
Vancouver to Toronto is like major.
Yeah.
Especially around this age that we're in,
There's more and more coming.
Exactly. And then I feel like people sometimes move back, sometimes they stay here. It just depends. But so many people I know right now from high school and like from my childhood are in Toronto, but they kind of moved more recently. And so it's been nice. I've been reconnecting with some of my older friends and stuff like that. But I'm not actually like with there's like a group of girls that I'm still really close to from my high school, which there's literally 30 people in my grade.
Fair.
Like these girls, like they're like family to me. Like they feel like sisters and cousins. Like I'm so close with them still. And we just we kind of check in with each other. Like every time I'm in Vancouver, I'll normally see one of them or all of them or a few of them.
Yeah.
But I don't know. I honestly don't really feel like, besides those girls, like I'm really close to a lot of people from high school.
Yeah.
You know, I feel like after I graduated, I moved right to Toronto, and I just didn't really keep in touch with like a lot of the people I went to specifically high school with, you know, and I kind of wish I did. You know, I miss them. I'm curious. It's my 10-year reunion this year, and I need to go. I'm gonna I gotta look so good. I'm like, I gotta get all the work done. I'm gonna lose 10 pounds. I was like, I gotta come in and look amazing, but I'm just really curious to hear about what everyone's up to, you know?
Yeah, it was interesting. We went to ours, it's been a while now, but it was cool to see, and it's always nice to catch up with people and see where everyone's at and what they've done. And with our group, honestly, we're all kind of in touch. Even like Susie is just a small part of the bigger group of friends that we still keep in touch with. So there's not a whole lot of questions about what everyone's up to because I still talk to all of them.
You see all of
them.
them.
What I mean?
But that is rare, like kind of what you're saying.
Yeah.
Like, you're like, oh, I didn't realize, we were kind of just like an anomaly.
Totally, yeah. And I think also, I feel like being apart from friends, I thought, like I was really homesick when I first moved here. My first 2 years, I told myself the second my Cactus contract's up, I'm out. Everyone knew Lieben's out of Toronto. And it was because that entire crew, outside of Matt, no one else was here from our crew. So, and Matt and I had opposite schedules. He was in finance Monday to Friday.
You're working nights.
I'm working, you know, he wants to invite me out on the weekends. I'm like, that's when I'm the busiest, or I'm the latest. And so it was hard for us to connect. And so I think I just missed my circle of friends. And so that made me really homesick. I have a small family, so friends have really filled that. Friends to me are like family. And so I'm really close and I hold them near and dear to my heart. So I remember thinking I'm out of here the second my contract's up.
Can I tell you something? I felt the same way when I first moved to Toronto.
Yeah,
but I lived keep in mind, I lived on Jarvis and Dundas.
Ooh, okay.
Yeah. In the student residences of TMU. I was did not like Toronto. I was like right in the young Dundas kind of square, and I just, oh my God, I hated it. It's
so different, right?
It's so different than Vancouver.
Nothing exists. Like you go to Yonge and Dundas, it reminds you you're in a big city. You know, you got like crazy stuff going on. It reminds you kind of like New York, obviously Times Square vibes, but you got like, it's just loud, it's busy, and you know, you don't have your circle, your people are with you, you know, and not that I didn't make friends, but it just didn't feel the same, you know?
Yeah, because like the friendships, like especially when you first move here, like you're so used to like I kind of felt like that too. Like I grew up with like literally like this class of like 30 people, and then I came to university and I was like, oh, these friendships aren't feeling that good. But it's because like I just met these people, you know, and
totally.
It takes time to build like strong relationships with people. But it's easy to forget that when you first move to a place.
Yeah. And like, I think looking back, I think I kind of blocked the ability to like create deep friendships because I had in my mind that I'm leaving. So I was like, what's the point? You know, I was like, I'm leaving in 2 years. This is my exit date. What's the point of, you know, building foundations of like a strong friendship here? Because I'm just going to leave anyway. So I kind of just like was like a no new friends when I first moved here. But yeah, something shifted in that like year and a half to 2 years. You start building a community and finding people that you connect with. And lo and behold, as time moved on, more and more people from Vancouver came to Toronto. And so
it slowly happens. What's like something that like someone wouldn't think of that is like, you know, or maybe something that people are romanticizing about owning / running a busy diner.
Yeah. Restaurants are sexy from the outside.
Yeah, they
are.
They're
fun. There's great looking people in there. The energy's nice. The food's good. But there's a lot of moving parts behind the scenes that aren't so pretty. And not that they're negative or bad way, but it's just a lot of hard work, you know? And so I think a lot of people underestimate the energy, the effort, the care, the love that has to go into this to make it succeed. I think for Susie's, what's something that's not so sexy? I think, you know, we just had our first equipment breakdown. It was the heating and cooling system that are not cheap, you know, and you get hit with this big bill. And, you know, we're fortunate enough to be in a position, we found some early success and, you know, we could pay the bill, but I can't imagine being, you know, mom and pop and like independent, just starting and getting hit with a big bill like that. Like, I don't even know did you shut down? You know, it's like, I don't know.
Like,
it sucks. Yeah. Like keep the place clean. It's not glamorous, you know, to have to clean up stuff and wipe down surfaces and clean toilets and, you know, it's a part of the job.
You know, at AM PM, like because we're right in Parkdale, people will take shits in front of the door all the time. All the time. Because we're in
someone's
Parkdale.
Got to clean it, you know?
And someone's got to clean it. Oh my God, thank God it's not me. I couldn't do that. I couldn't do that. But we have some really amazing barbacks.
Yeah.
Oh my God, these guys are brave men. Like
Soldiers,
some of the
man.
stuff I've had to see them clean and like just deal with. Like even like 2 weeks ago, some kid, he like came in, it was like 10:30, and he just walked to, I walked him to his table, and he just started, like, he seemed totally fine.
Yeah.
Randomly just started puking blood everywhere.
Oh my goodness.
Everywhere, and covered like 2 full tables, and then just acted like nothing happened. And I was there like,
like, dude, what?
I was looking at him in shock. I was like, "Are you serious?" And then he was upset because I was like, "You can't be here. I'm
Yeah,
sorry. Like that's
seriously.
what if you do that again? Like that's so
Yeah.
fucked up that you just
Yeah,
did
yeah.
that, you know?"
Yeah,
and he's like, "No,
yeah.
I'm fine." I'm like, "If you were fine, you'd be able to, you know, like
Yeah.
have the common sense to go to the
Hold it
bathroom
back
and
yeah.
you know, like." And we were just kind of going back and forth, and then I called the barbacks over, and I think I was feeling kind of nauseous that day, and they were cleaning it up, and I was like I was just gagging the whole time. Or like sometimes I'll come into my shift, and there's like unhoused people outside at the front, you know, like a lot of like mentally ill people as well.
Yeah.
And then like literally human shit.
Yeah.
You know,
Man,
because like
crazy,
it's Parkdale, and like
yeah.
that's
Shout out to
also-
barbacks though.
yeah,
Shout out to I've been in that position, man. I know what it's like. So shout out to AMPM's barbacks.
they're the best.
They're doing God's work.
Yeah, because like I feel like barbacks are, and like people who are, you know, I feel like there unfortunately is, I think less so now, and especially once you kind of move to like smaller restaurants and clubs and bars and stuff like that. But at a place like Cactus Club, and I've worked at some places that were more corporate, there really is a hierarchy, right? Like
Yeah,
I feel
absolutely.
like, and I feel like it's a bit better now. I feel like people are kind of getting over that. They're like, we're all the same here.
Yeah,
But when you first start, you really feel that hierarchy.
Absolutely. Yeah.
You know?
You start out, and it's almost like there's like this energy of you have to earn your stripes.
Absolutely.
You know what I mean?
Yeah.
And I would imagine like, you know, the first servers, the lounge was always like the pinnacle of like the hierarchy. Like what all the girls wanted to get up to was like the lounge server. As
They
the
probably made the
guys-
most money, right?
Yeah, yeah. It was
That's
the
probably
busiest
what it was,
section.
yeah.
It was totally. And then for the guys, it was the barter, like being a bartender in the well. And so, but there was no chance you were going to get in there without previous experience, and to get that experience, you
Earn
got to
your
start from the
stripes.
bottom. You got to earn your stripes. And
Did you
so-
ever have moments where you felt like kind of beaten down as like a barback?
Yeah, I mean, yeah. When you're cleaning shit,
Yeah.
I've done it. You know, I was like, you're questioning
you're
what am I
human, you're
doing right
human.
now? Yeah, this sucks. But you know, I think you're right. I think it's shifted a little bit, and I think, you know, I look at it from a different lens now as a GM, and I've come up with I've come under some really great mentors of mine that have led in a way that I always told myself I would lead the same way. And, you know, I remember the first time I had to clean shit, my GM came to me and was like, hey, so there's a mess downstairs. You're not going to like it. I'll happily do it. But, you know, if you do it, I got a burger and a beer for you after your shift. But if you can tell me no, and I'll do it.
I really like that approach. You know, even just
respect that.
asking instead of telling. Right?
Yeah.
I think that's a sign of a good manager.
Yeah, I've learned so much from.
A lot of respect.
Shout
for
out to
that.
Ben Cooney. But that always stood out to me, and so, you know, I think nowadays there is more of that. We, and as a team collectively, we do what we can to support each other, and whether the titles don't really matter anymore as much. You know, the dirty messes could come or can be cleaned by the GM, the owners, buses. You know, whoever has the free time.
bartenders.
It's whoever makes the most sense at that time.
For sure.
And so I think that's kind of the culture we like to create at Susies.
I feel like it's getting a bit better as well, like generally.
For
these
sure.
places?
From what I hear, like I feel like you hear the young kids now talk about the industry. I just feel like it's a different world than what we might have come up in.
Yeah, because I don't think I've talked about this yet, but I actually worked at King Tap's, the sister
Oh, no
restaurant.
way. Okay,
Yes, I
yeah.
did.
Okay.
So I never worked at Cactus Club, but I worked at the sister restaurant. So it was a very
The one
similar
at King Street?
on King Street. Yes, and I think I was like maybe 20 at the time. I had hosted at this other place called The Citizen for a couple of years, and then I tried to lie my way into serving, and King Tap's just saw right through it. They're like, "You're hosting."
Yeah.
So
Earn
get
your
to
stripes,
it.
yeah.
Earn your stripes. And to be honest, that was a place though, because I was hosting previously, right? Like a place that was corporate, but a little less corporate than, you know, King Tap's and
Yeah.
Cactus Club. But that environment for me, my own experience there, like I think also I'm a bit more of a type B person. It just did not align with me. And I feel like, you know, I think it worked for a lot of people.
Yeah.
But that experience made me feel really beaten down. When I came in, I just felt like just beaten down. Like at that specific time, there was like this really kind of evil manager that was there. I won't name a name, but she was a little evil, and she kept promising me that I was going to serve if I did like a month or two of hosting. And I was like, okay. And so I was thugging it out, but just like as a host, I was cleaning up. I would clean up the bathrooms. I would clean up, you know, I would be running food. I would be lighting all the candles. Like my hands, I would have burns all over my hands because I would light like candles on like 100 tables, you know, 150 tables. And, you know, you'd be cleaning up all the time. And I felt really separated as well from the rest of the restaurant too.
Yeah, because you're stuck at the door, right? You can't be amongst it. I can totally empathize with that.
It's not a fun
I think
feeling.
there's also like being in those years too. You know, I don't know if it was the same at King Taps, but we joked that it was Cactus High because it felt like the drama. And so and so hooked up with this person's ex, and this person got promoted, and this person felt they deserved it better, and you know, you have those moments too, and that's like a whole other slew of things you deal with outside of the job itself, like the social element and like.
It literally feels like a high school,
right?
Like
you want to be a part of the things, and someone's throwing a house party, or someone's birthday you didn't get invited to, but the whole host team did, and like
that literally happened to me.
Oh no!
All the hosts, like they all got invited to I think one of the servers or bartender's birthday, and it made sense because like I think I was newer,
fair.
You know, and that was really hurtful. But I also understood at the same time. I'm like, no one's obligated to invite me. They don't know me. Like it's a birthday, but then it would be like something like it'd be like. The birthday would be literally at King Taps, like in front of me. I was like, damn.
I'm
like, and I can't join. Okay.
Or someone's asking you to take the shift so they can go and you have to stay.
That just didn't feel really good.
Yeah, I think that definitely existed in the corporate space. And I think when you deal with larger spaces, I feel like when there aren't that many large restaurants with that many employees that aren't corporate. That makes sense.
Yeah, exactly.
And the independent restaurants are usually smaller and have a smaller team and don't deal with so much.
It feels like less high school-y.
Yeah, because we had 300 staff at that Cactus that I worked at. Yeah. So, you know, it's bigger than some schools.
No, bigger than my school. It's bigger than my school. Right? It was probably around the size of my entire school, like K to 12.
Yeah. Did you find that there were struggles at that age, like fitting in, or like was it something that came to you? Because I feel like knowing you now, like you're so easy to connect, and
thank you.
Have such a good circle of friends, and I feel like
I appreciate that.
Yeah, I don't know. Was that always easy for you?
Honestly, I've always been, my mom always said, like, I was a social butterfly.
Yeah.
I think growing up, like, I've always been really social, but I think I became really insecure. And I think this is so common for girls. I mean, maybe everyone, right? But a lot of girls I know, you know, specifically around like 11, kind of 12 years old, I gained a lot of weight and people treated me differently after that. And also I had really, really bad cystic acne growing up. And I feel like I just became so insecure and I tried so hard. And even like I think I tried like too hard. And people used to call me like in high school, like a social climber, like high school, middle school, social climber, like people pleaser, like try hard. Like they would say like really awful things about me. Like I wasn't necessarily like bullied, I think, more than anyone else. Like I think it's just like kind of kids are just kind of mean. Like teenagers are just kind of mean, to be honest.
Yeah.
But yeah, like I think that ruined my self-esteem and confidence for a really long time. So I feel like growing up, I was super social. And even in those years, I was still social, but I was so self-conscious. Yeah. It was really hard. Like I would overthink everything, you know, I would I would like hang out with a group of girls for the first time and pay for everyone's dinner, even if I didn't know them. And they would talk behind me about me behind my back and be like, Emily's so try hard, even though I was just trying to do something nice.
Totally.
And I'm like, and so I think
you can't win.
Yeah, I felt like I couldn't win. And then I think in university, I started feeling a bit more confident. Like I made some really good friends in first university and I'm still close with a few of them now, but not too many of them. But I honestly just felt really lucky in like my university kind of experience. I met amazing people and I feel like that really helped me establish like my confidence again.
Yeah.
And I felt more confident being like social, and honestly doing therapy and being in the service industry has really helped me like feel confident in myself and my speaking abilities. Like what we're doing right now on this podcast, I'm just doing this like basically all day. I'm like, you're not a stranger. I know you. We're friends,
fair.
right?
No,
but like,
I know what you mean. Yeah.
For like a lot of the times, like in the service industry or when I'm working as a therapist, I'm meeting strangers for the first time, and I have to be able to connect with anyone, right? Like whether that's a 60-year-old man with like bipolar disorder or that's a drug dealer at AM/PM that's like 18, like or not 18, like 19. You know, like I have to like
But that's our superpower.
So
That's what makes us good at our jobs, you know?
Exactly. Being able to connect with diverse people.
Absolutely.
Yeah.
Absolutely.
So yeah, like I think to answer that, like I think, yes, I've kind of been like this, but there's definitely a period where my light was dimmed, you know? But even this podcast is giving me that confidence again. Like cool. I think being like at the start, right before we started filming, I was saying to you, I was like, I used to feel really nervous before filming these episodes, and maybe it's you, or maybe it's just because I'm getting more comfortable, but I feel so much calmer and like more self-assured now. I'm trying to take that next step though, because I've been asked to speak on some panels and stuff like that. Like I think people hear me speaking in my podcast and they're like, oh, like this girl, like she can talk and she seems like she knows what she's talking about. But that's something I'm really scared to do. Like be live in front of like a live audience and like just get Q&A'd in front of everyone. I think I know I could do it. Yeah. And maybe I have to take a beta block or something to get it done. But I think I could do it. I that really scares me. And that's something that's kind of like the next step, the next thing I want to be able to overcome, because I think doing that stuff will help me feel a bit more confident and even just feel, you know, and help like promote my podcast and stuff like that too.
For sure. Yeah. I think you know what helps is I think the idea of helping someone outweighs, or the excitement of being able to help someone outweighs the fear of messing it up, for me at least.
Because there's so many benefits to it, right? Like there's, when you do that kind of stuff and put yourself out there and, you know, share things that could help people.
Even doing this podcast, it's like, you know, I don't know that I was inherently like super nervous, but there are nerves. They exist. You're going to speak about on camera. And so, you know, my hope is that one of these questions can help someone out there navigate this industry a bit better than I did.
Although I feel like you navigated it well, but I guess maybe it took time, right? Like you were in it for a while.
There's a lot of unhealthy choices made throughout the years. You know, this industry has a way of glamorizing the party side of things, and it just comes with the territory. You know, I sometimes say it's a part of the job. It probably isn't.
No, it high-key is.
You know, like
high-key is. Yeah.
Right. Yeah. So, you know, it's fun when you're in your 20s. But as you get older, your body doesn't take to it as well, and you know you don't perform as well. I used to be able to pull all-nighters and go to work and not be
like
phased.
That's psycho.
I can't do it no more. But
I couldn't even do that to start. To be honest, I feel like I've always had such a bad, like my hangovers have always just been like so brutal. But it's true, like there is such a big like party side to the industry, right? Like when I first started doing bottle service and even serving, I would go out all the time because I was trying to like, maybe not as much when I was serving, but when I was doing bottle service, because I'm trying to make connections and I was trying to like meet people and network and like bring people to the club that I was working at and stuff like that. And over time, like I've stopped doing that. Like and this is kind of like, I don't know if it's like a hot take or not, but I actually don't really enjoy clubbing anymore, even though I work at a club. But it's not like ruined it for me, but it just, the
allure, the magic. Well, you know what?
I'm kind of over it, you know?
The magic's gone. Like you're sexy. You see through it, right? Or you know the behind the scenes. So it's like the magic of what draws people in, or is kind of you know the behind the scenes, so it's a little bit different.
Exactly. And like I just know like I'm gonna be in that environment at least once. I work like at least once a week at AM PM, and I just know I'm gonna get that at AM PM, and I'm like, why would I go to a club on my night off? Like you know, but I think that's my frontal lobes like fully developed. You know, I think at 27 now it's developed. You know?
Yeah, for sure. I mean, even at 34, I still get FOMO.
Me too.
But the friends just aren't in there as much, so I'm not missing it all that much. But yeah, I think there's definitely a part of this industry, and like there's times when I think to myself, like, you know, Leebs, you're 34, man. You turned 35. Like,
like why are you at AM PM last night?
What are you doing, bro?
I saw him last night at AM PM.
Yeah, they'll stop by. You know, so you have those thoughts of, you know, is this healthy anymore? Like, is this conducive of what you're trying to do? And I struggle with that sometimes.
Because it does start to affect, like, you know what I mean? Like, it starts to affect, like, other areas of your life, and you're like, I just can't do this anymore.
Yeah, and you try I'm working through, like, prioritizing things and finding what's important to me. And, it's a constant battle. I think I've always always battled with how to manage being in the scene but trying to be removed.
Yeah, because you want to have like one foot in, one foot out. You know?
Yeah, it's good for the business. You know, networking is a part of it. You know, and meeting new people and bringing new faces to the.
Well, that's even how I know about Susies, because like some like Maddie and Jeff and like some of the owners and faces of Susies, like they're friends with my friends from AM PM that I know literally from them initially just coming into AM PM that I've become really close with. And Susie's like, if I'm going to go out for breakfast or brunch, like I know where I'm going. I know where home is. You know what I mean? I'm going to Susie's.
Love that.
Right. And a part of it's because it's an amazing diner and everything. But a part of it's also because, you know, you guys are my friends. Like I love seeing you guys. Like, you know, I don't go out for breakfast super often because I normally sleep until like 3 p.m. to be honest. But when I do go out, like that's a part of it though too. And like that's like from networking and like being out and stuff like that, you know?
Totally. Yeah. So it was easier when I was a night manager, but now that I run a brunch spot, you got to show up. You know, I think it's important that the guests, it's not fair that the guests get a discounted version of Susie's because Liben went out last night.
Yeah. Cause you're hungover.
Yeah. So that's something that's always really important for me is like showing up, regardless of what I do, showing up is the most important for the guest experience. You know, I just think it's like, and I preach it to the staff too. Like it's not fair that they get a discounted version.
That's a good way to put it. You know, I definitely gave, I think, a bit of a discounted version of myself yesterday. I'm not going to lie. I got so drunk on Saturday night. Just regular drunk. I was drunk. I was drunk on Saturday night. I went to Can I Bring a Friend?
Oh, yes.
And I saw
we bumped into you at the end. I came at the end. Said hi.
See, and I don't remember that.
Okay. It was we showed up late. We tend to, because of work, show up late. But
literally don't remember that.
Yeah, fair.
So I guess I saw you the last 2 nights, and I didn't even know. Yeah. So on Sunday, I like woke up and I was like, "Holy fuck, I'm so hungover." Look at my bank account. I was like, "I gotta work."
Yeah.
And then I feel like I honestly last night was really lovely. I feel like everything. Thank God, everything just went well. Like payments were easy. Everyone was being so friendly. People kept actually coming up to me and congratulating me on my podcast, and I was just like, I felt the love. I felt the love, and I kind of went into the shift feeling like a little bit anxious because I was having like anxiety. Like I was still like definitely like hungover.
Yeah, fair.
You know, and so I was like maybe not as loud and social as I normally would be, but I was still trying to be the best version of myself, but it is something I am trying to be a bit more conscious of, right? I don't want to give people a discounted version of myself. Like even I was telling you right before we started filming, I did an episode with a friend. I won't say who, but I did an episode with a friend here and I was a little hungover and I just felt like I didn't feel fully present, you know?
Yeah.
And so being present is just so important. For sure. You know?
For sure. So especially in this industry it's people, right? And so, you know, it's face to face. It's not, you can't hide behind an email.
Oh, you can't hide.
You know, you're there.
And people will see right through you too.
Absolutely.
If you're in a bad mood or you're feeling like impatient or agitated that day, which can happen, right? We're human, but they'll see right through it. And like that can make a huge difference, right? That's someone writing like a bad review or like telling their friend like, hey, like, I went here and the server was like kind of short with me. Yeah. You know?
Yeah, totally. Yeah. So that's important for me, definitely. But that's what makes it tough to make those choices of like pulling back and like, you know, maybe let's not go out after. You know, let's maybe go straight home. Don't stop at AM PM.
Let's not stop at AM PM. It's always we're both saying too, it's on our way home. So it's a little too convenient. Yeah. Well, I wanted to ask you, like, as like a final question, like, do you have any advice for someone who's just like even like barbacking in the industry, anyone that's like in the industry right now? Is there any advice you'd give them? You know, or like even to like another general manager, like, you know, or someone who's just thinking about getting into the service industry. Yeah, I think you gotta have a tough skin. I think you have to be able to understand that not everything is going to be roses and petals, you know, like there's going to be some tough stuff you deal with, you know, it's going to be. You might have to clean up shit. Yeah, clean up shit or having someone yell at you and swear at you or, you know, not pay their bill or whatever. And I think you just have to have this undying positive energy to the space and just understand that like you kind of got to kill them with kindness. And that'd be my advice to someone like in coming up in it, but as a GM or like someone like running the show, I think listen to your people, you know, care about the staff. I think that's really important. You know, I never want our staff to feel like an employee number or just a number, you know, my God. Like it's the worst feeling I've that's how I felt at King Tabs. Yeah, right? Fair. It's, you know, big corporations, like sometimes it can be like that. And, you know, you have the pleasure of opening an independent shop. One of the privileges you get is you get to know your staff really well, you know, and I know that. Yeah, listen to them. And, you know, I know I've been there, you know, I've been in their positions. And so I try to create what it is that I admired about the industry. And that was flexibility. So I am lenient with time off. And like, I really want, you know, if someone
wants to swap a shift last second, or like,
That's okay.
you know, I want them to have that. That's one of the perks that I grew up with that I really enjoyed. Or, you know, having someone that's willing to listen to your personal problems. You know, I think this industry has a way of blurring the lines of work and personal too. So
For sure.
you get to know your staff really well, and not in a weird way, but like just from a human connection. Like, you know, they feel comfortable enough to talk to me and tell me that, you know, they're going through a breakup, or, you know, their pet died and their
mom's sick.
Yeah, you know, and I just want to be able to support our staff in any way.
So that's advice you give to a GM. I like that.
Yeah,
support your staff.
Support your staff. You know, it's
I'm gonna write
sometimes
Cam about that. Okay, I'm gonna support your staff. No, he's supportive.
No, you guys have such a good crew.
Yeah, I know we're lucky. I feel like we both have good teams at Susies and at AMPM.
Man,
you know, thank God.
Thank goodness.
Thank
if this place
goodness.
was run by just me, it would not be anything.
Oh, I don't know. I don't know if I.
No, this team is unreal. We balance each other out. We all have a role, and my weaknesses are their strengths, and vice versa. So we're able to really balance each other out. Which is
That's
nice.
a beautiful way to put it.
Yeah.
I love that.
Yeah.
And I want to say thank you so much for your time today.
Absolutely.
It was such a treat having you on.
Yeah, it was such an easy convo.
I know.
You know?
It's just that's why I was like, I asked you. I think what was it like the last time I saw you at Susie's? I was like,
Yeah.
hey, would you guys want to come on?
Yeah. And you know what? I wish the other guys could have been here, but scheduling stuff. Couldn't all be here, but
I'm so happy that you were able to make it. It meant everything to me.
Yeah,
so if
thank
you guys do want to follow
Yes.
Leebs on Instagram, you can follow him. I'm gonna spell it out for you guys. You can follow him at LIBENT
A2R. Libenator.
Leebnator. Okay.
Yeah. And then at Susies Toronto.
At Susies Toronto on
Toronto.
Instagram, TikTok.
Yeah. Anything, hit us. Yeah. Come get some pancakes.
Best pancakes in the city. And if you guys want to learn more about me or, you know, stay updated with me, you can follow me on Instagram at Club Therapy Pod. And then I'm on all podcast platforms at Club Therapy.
You know what? I've actually listened to every episode, just so you know.
You what, sorry?
I've listened to every single episode.
That's a real one right here. That's
great.
a real
They're all
one.
great.
I knew why I liked you. No, I appreciate that.
Absolutely.
Yeah, thanks so
No,
much for your
it's supposed to be
time.
real.
And thanks
Thank
for
you.
listening, guys. We appreciate it.
Bye, guys.
Bye.